They didn't even look me in the eye. Andrea from HR walked in like a ghost, heels clicking on the tile, holding a plain cardboard box, like it was some gift. She didn't sit, didn't say hi, just dropped it on my desk and mumbled, "You'll need this." I blinked at her. For what? She didn't answer right away, just stood there, tight-lipped, glancing at the door behind her. Then she added, almost like an afterthought, "Please try to be understanding," and tilted her head toward the hallway. Standing there was a kid, couldn't have been older than 25, tight navy suit, slick haircut, no tie. He had that fresh out of the Ivy League glow, like he thought the world was just waiting for his genius. "I'm Chase," he said, stepping in with that fake confidence they teach in business school. "From Stanford. I'm here to bring some new ideas to compliance." I just stared at him. He glanced around my office, and I swear to God, he was already mapping out where to put his diploma and that dumb little bonsai tree all these young guys think makes them look deep. I kept my hands folded, but I could feel them start to shake. 15 years. 15 years building this department from scratch, holding this place together during inspections, audits, 2 near shutdowns, and 1 full-blown federal investigation. I had the scars to prove it, and now some fresh grad with no real-world experience was here to bring new ideas. Andrea cleared her throat, clearly uncomfortable. "You've got till the end of the hour, Jack." That paperweight, heavy black marble, engraved with "For Excellence During Crisis, 2021" from the board. I picked it up, turned it over once in my hand, then threw it against the wall. The crack echoed down the hall. Nobody came. Quick note: before listening, share which city or country you're watching from. I shoved the box open and started loading it. Inspection log. Family photo of Sarah and the kids. The binder with handwritten notes no one else could make sense of. My mug from the 2016 retreat. Funny how I actually thought we were a team back then. Chase tried to speak again. "I really hope we can work together." "Don't." I didn't even look at him. Just kept packing. The worst part? Nobody said a damn word. Not from finance, not from legal, not even Steve in internal audit, who I covered for when he botched last year's filing. 15 years, and I walked out with a cardboard box and a deactivated key card. I stepped into the elevator alone, the only sound my boots hitting the tile. When the doors closed, I didn't say goodbye. I sat in my truck, parked under that flickering street lamp at the far end of the lot. Rain hammered the windshield like it was pissed off too. Wipers off, engine off. Just me, watching water pour off the building like the place was trying to wash its hands of me. Then I saw her, Penny, CEO's assistant. Designer trench coat flapping, heels splashing through puddles, mascara probably halfway down her face. She banged her hand against the passenger window, and I rolled it down just enough to hear her through the downpour. "Jack, please, you have to come back." I didn't say a word, just stared at her. "Chase is tanking it. Thomas is in the conference room losing his mind. He asked where you were 3 times. Refuses to go through the audit without you." That got a flicker out of me. Commissioner Thomas didn't suffer amateurs, and I could picture his face already. Tight-lipped, red from yelling, probably threatening to shut the whole plant down. I leaned back and let the silence stretch. Let her twist in the rain a little. Her breath started fogging up the glass. She leaned in, voice cracking. "Look, we'll give you your job back. Same title. Slight raise. Just, please, this is bad." I turned and looked at her, slow and steady. "No." Penny blinked. "No? You think I'm coming back for crumbs? You let them throw me out like a temp." Her shoulders dropped. "Okay, what do you want?" "I want to report directly to the CEO. No middle managers, no filters." She hesitated. I kept going. "I want double my old salary, not a bonus, salary. I want my office, exactly how I left it." Her mouth opened to argue, then shut. "And Chase? I want him under me. Title change and all, 6-month minimum. I train him, I evaluate him, I decide if he stays." She looked like she was about to choke, but I wasn't done. "And one more thing. Karen, I want her to stand in front of the entire executive team and apologize, publicly, for removing me without cause." Penny actually took a step back like I'd hit her. She stared at the ground, soaked and breathing heavy, then wiped rain from her face and looked back up at me. "I'll make it happen." "You better." I turned the key, engine rumbled to life. She stepped back, heels nearly sliding out from under her as I backed out slow and steady. 10 minutes later, I walked back through the main doors. My boots echoed down the hallway like war drums. Everyone on the floor froze. A few popped their heads out of their offices, eyes wide. I didn't stop to explain. Penny was already waiting at the conference room door, hair drenched, phone in hand. She opened it without a word. Thomas turned, still standing, arms crossed. "Merritt, thought you'd come to your senses." I didn't smile, didn't nod, just walked past him, took the seat at the head of the table, the one Chase had clearly been trying to claim. Thomas slid a binder across to me. "We're on Section 5. It's a mess." I flipped it open, scanned the damage, rookie mistakes, missing signatures, improper log codes, contradictory safety tags. It was bad. Chase sat 2 seats down, pale as a sheet, tapping his pen like he wanted to disappear. "Give me 20 minutes, I said. Thomas sat down. "You've got 15. The room cleared out. I could feel eyes through the glass walls, people whispering, watching like a damn soap opera. I didn't care. I cracked my knuckles, grabbed a red pen, and went to work. By the time I finished marking up the inspection binder, the movers were already in my office. Well, his office, for now. Chase stood off to the side, arms crossed, trying not to look completely humiliated. But his eyes kept flicking back to the bookshelf as the movers boxed up his framed Stanford degree and that stupid fake bonsai. "Careful with that," he muttered as one guy dropped a box a little too hard. I stepped in behind them, didn't even glance his way. "Gentlemen," I said, loud enough for the whole floor to hear, "once you're done clearing out the kids' upgrades, I'll need my chair back exactly where it was. Tilt locked and armrest adjusted. No shortcuts." One of them smirked. Chase didn't. Across the hall, I spotted Andrea from HR trying to make herself invisible near the printer. I raised my voice just enough. "Hey Andrea, before lunch, make sure Chase Matthews is officially listed as my assistant on all internal documentation. That includes payroll, email signature, and org chart." She froze like a deer in headlights. "Got it," she said, barely above a whisper. Karen walked past seconds later, phone to her ear, eyes locked straight ahead. She didn't even flinch when I nodded in her direction. No spine, just damage control. When the last box rolled out, I stepped in and shut the door behind me. It hit different. My old office. Same paint, same glass wall. But everything felt sharper. Chair creaked just right when I sat. The air even smelled like burnt coffee and old paper, like it remembered me. I looked at the door. My nameplate was back. Jack Merritt, Compliance Director. Yeah, that felt right. Outside, Chase sat at the assistant's desk, typing something on his laptop like it mattered. That same desk I used to sit at 15 years ago, with a used monitor, a phone that didn't dial out, and a broken drawer that jammed if you pulled too hard. I let the poetry of it hang in the air a second longer, then buzzed him in. "Afternoon task. I want 6/4 of inspection notes pulled, sorted by inspector, incident type, and corrective action." He walked in, carrying his laptop like a shield. "Actually," he said, "I already started rebuilding the system, color-coded by department instead. It's more efficient." I leaned back in my chair. "Is it?" "Yeah. Cut search time by 22%. You verify that?" He nodded, too fast. I opened my desk drawer, pulled out a printed list. "Then tell me where we logged the Section 8112F violations last May." He squinted. "Which section?" "812F. He scrolled, clicked, paused. "That doesn't exist." I smiled. "Cold." "Exactly." His face flushed. I stood up, walked around the desk until I was eye level with him. "This isn't school. You don't get points for clever. You get points for not getting us fined into the ground." He swallowed hard. "Understood." "Do you?" He nodded again. "Yes, sir." I pointed at the assistant desk. "Then start acting like it." He backed out without another word, and I watched him sit down across the glass. He looked smaller now. Good. Let him learn the hard way. It's the only way that sticks. The door slammed open so hard the glass rattled. Karen stormed in, heels stabbing the floor, arms full of papers that she launched across my desk like shrapnel. Some slid onto the floor, others landed across my keyboard. "You went too far!" she snapped. "You don't get to dictate how this company runs." I didn't move, just leaned back, hands folded in my lap. "You done throwing things? Or should I duck? You think you're untouchable now? I'll block every demand you made." I cut her off. "You wouldn't be standing here if you still had that kind of power." She scoffed. "I'm still on the board, and I'm the only reason this place isn't drowning in federal fines," I said. "You remember the 2021 audit? 40 million in liability. Who took that bullet?" "Not you." She opened her mouth, probably to change the subject, but I was already pulling a folder out of my desk drawer. Thick, tabbed, printed, real paper. I slid it across to her. "What's this?" "Read it." She hesitated, then flipped it open. Her eyes moved faster with each page. Head of Compliance offers from Meriton Pharma. Executive role at Trintex Global. A hybrid offer from Newform that came with stock options and relocation, all dated in the last 72 hours. They've been waiting for me to get tired of your nonsense, I said. You're bluffing. Call any of those numbers. She didn't. I leaned forward. Here's how this works. You go in front of the executive team, you apologize, out loud. You own what you did. She stared at me like I'd just spit on her shoes. You're serious. Dead. I'll talk to Kent. I'll stall the board vote. You do that, I said, standing up. And the next compliance call you take will be without me in the room. Good luck explaining the next crisis on your own. We locked eyes. She blinked first. 2 days later, we were all in the 10th floor conference room. It was too cold, like always, with that faint smell of dry erase marker and catered coffee nobody ever drank. I sat dead center at the table. Thomas was there. Kent, 4 VPs, 2 directors, even someone from legal. Penny stood near the screen with her tablet. Chase was in the back corner with a notepad, eyes flicking between everyone like he was watching a live courtroom drama. Karen walked in 5 minutes late. No papers, no assistants. Just her. She stood at the head of the room, cleared her throat, and looked around like she'd rather be anywhere else. Her jaw clenched so tight I could see the muscles twitch. I want to address a recent decision. Regarding Mr. Merritt's prior removal, she started, voice flat. She paused. No one helped her. She blinked, then said it, forced, quiet, but clear. I made that call without full awareness of the risks. That was a mistake. Jack Merritt is essential to this company's compliance operation, and I apologize for the disruption and lack of transparency. Silence. No one clapped, no one spoke. But I watched the shift. Eyes turned toward me. Not her. Me. And not like I was a returning employee anymore. Like I was the one holding the leash now. Chase scribbled something in his notebook, then looked up and nodded once. Almost like he finally understood how this place really worked. The next morning, Chase was already at his desk when I walked in. No coffee, no earbuds, just a legal pad full of notes and a highlighter in his hand. He stood when I passed, but I didn't say anything, just gave a short nod and went into my office. 5 minutes later, he knocked. Got a minute? He asked, eyes not quite meeting mine. I tilted my head toward the chair across from me. He sat, flipped the page in his notebook. How do you get Thomas to back down like that? He asked. Yesterday in the meeting, I've never seen him quiet. It's not about what you say, I told him. It's about what they think you'll do. He scribbled something, fast. Got it. From there, things started to shift, quietly. He didn't push anymore. No flashy efficiency systems. No bragging about productivity hacks. He followed me into every inspection and kept his mouth shut, pen moving the whole time. When we walked Commissioner Alvarez through the solvent vault, Chase stayed 1 step behind, eyes on her the whole time. Double cream, no sugar, I whispered when we passed the break room. What? Her coffee. Don't forget it. An hour later, she was still talking about her grandkids and barely glanced at the mislabeled chemical bin I'd slipped a corrected tag onto, with nothing more than a calm word to the shift lead. Chase waited until we got back upstairs. That bin, that could have triggered a red flag. Yep, but you didn't log it? Nope. Why not? Because Alvarez isn't here to read binders. She's here to see if we can handle problems without making them hers. He didn't argue, just nodded and jotted. The next day, he beat me in again. Had the elevator already waiting. Didn't talk. When we ran into Morrison from Environmental Safety, Chase didn't just shake her hand. He asked about her kids' robotics team. I didn't even know he remembered that. I watched quietly as he backed off the textbook talk and leaned into the human side. Body language, eye contact, tone. The execs didn't know what to make of it. They'd been betting on a turf war, waiting for me to crack his ego or for him to try to take another shot at my chair. Instead, they got something else. A slow burn. A shift they couldn't track on a chart or shove into a quarterly review. Mentorship. Not the hand-holding kind either. The real kind. The kind nobody asks for, but if they survive it, they come out dangerous. I still kept my distance. No lunches, no off-hours drinks. I wasn't there to make him feel welcome, but I saw the gears turning. He was learning the thing they never taught at Stanford, the thing that saved our asses every time the alarms went off. I was heading to my truck in the garage when I heard my name. Jack. It was Xavier from operations. Hard hat in one hand, cigarette in the other. He looked around like he didn't want anyone hearing what came next. You got a second? I stopped. What's up? He stepped closer, lowered his voice. Karen's been meeting with outside consultants, quiet meetings, private rooms. You weren't on the calendar invite. I narrowed my eyes. Consultants for what? Compliance, specifically automation. I let out a sharp laugh. They're gonna automate me? Xavier didn't smile. He just took a drag, blew it out slow. She's selling it to the investors as modernization, more efficient, more scalable, less personality-driven. Her words. That smile dropped off my face fast. Who's backing this? Couple board members, maybe 3. But the real push is coming from the outside. Some group out of San Jose backing a compliance AI suite. Thinks it'll cut headcount and reporting time in half. I stared at him, cold knot forming in my chest. Thanks, I said. He crushed the cigarette and walked off without another word. I got in the truck, but I didn't drive off. Just sat there, hands on the wheel, thinking. They wanted to play hardball. Fine. Back upstairs, I shut my office door, locked it, pulled out the black binder I kept in the bottom drawer, my personal log, not the sanitized stuff, the real notes. Handwritten observations, vendor behaviors, what each inspector liked or hated, who was sleeping with who, what got brushed under which rug. Then I opened my desktop and pulled every digital file I'd saved over the last 2 years. Emails, memos, notes from competitor audits, back-channel tips from friends still working for regulators. Phase 2 started now. They wanted a fight. I'd give them a war. I opened a blank presentation, titled it Sustained Integrity Plan, and started building a case that would flip their automated fantasy inside out. Slide 1. A map of current violations being investigated at our top 3 competitors. Slide 2. Forecasted liability if we followed suit. Slide 3. My solution. Real oversight, rooted in trust, not lines of code. By the time I looked up, it was past 7. Chase had gone home. The hallway lights were dim. Good. I wasn't ready to play defense. I was done reacting. The next morning, Penny sent out an urgent scheduling change to the executive calendar. Emergency board session, 10th floor. No agenda attached. I showed up 10 minutes early. 3 sealed black folders under my arm. Laptop in my hand, suit pressed sharp as a razor. I walked in, plugged into the projector, and didn't say a word until everyone was seated. Kent, acting board chair now that Karen had stepped back from the floor. 2 outside investors, CFO, COO, legal counsel, head of risk. Karen was dead last, eyes cold, jaw clenched. She sat 2 chairs away from me and didn't look over once. Good. I clicked open the first slide. The title read, Compliance Blind Spots, Competitive Risk Exposure. No one moved. I clicked again. Slide 2 showed the logos of 3 companies, our top competitors. Below each one, I listed pending investigations, falsified safety records, manipulated emissions data, improper regulatory influence. These are not rumors, I said. They're formal inquiries. 2 federal, 1 multi-state. Quiet now, but not for long. I handed the folders down the table. Everything inside is verifiable. Timelines, sources, whistleblower interviews. You'll notice the timestamps. Karen snatched hers off the table like it was poison. These companies all chose automation over human oversight, I continued. Streamlined their compliance programs, slashed personnel, shifted trust into software that doesn't know the difference between a human risk and a human solution. Slide 3. Projected penalties. 180 PLORs. Combined fines, revocation of contracts, potential criminal referrals. Now, I said, stepping to the side, this is where we either get smart or get swallowed. Karen's voice finally cut in. This is absurd. You're presenting rumors as fact. This is manipulation. Hell, this is blackmail. I looked her dead in the eye. No, this is insurance. I clicked again. Slide 4. Proposed restructure, internal safeguards, and public integrity framework. Underneath were bullet points, expanded compliance oversight across operations, R&D, and product, full transparency between compliance and investor relations, formation of an internal ethics committee reporting directly to me, real-time inspection tracking, centralized whistleblower channel, monthly audits with external reviewer. Karen stood, slammed her folder shut. You're hijacking this company. I didn't flinch. I'm saving it. You want modernization? Here it is. Built on accountability, not code. Kent raised a hand, motioned for her to sit. She didn't. He didn't ask twice. Let's be clear, I said. You don't have to back me, But if you don't, and the feds come knocking next month, and they will, don't expect me to answer the door for you. No one spoke. I let the silence sit. 30 seconds, maybe more. Then Kent leaned forward. We'll vote Wednesday. This, he tapped the folder, isn't something we can ignore. I nodded once, packed up the laptop, and left the folders where they lay. They knew what I'd just done. I'd walked into their strongest room and shown them I had the floor now. The vote didn't even take 20 minutes. Kent called me in after the board met behind closed doors. Everyone looked stiff, formal, like they were pretending this wasn't the most important pivot the company had taken in a decade. He cleared his throat. It's unanimous. All demands approved. Then he glanced to his left. Karen sat there, arms crossed, lips pressed into a tight line. She abstained, he added. Of course she did. I didn't smile. I just nodded, stood up and said, "You won't regret it." By noon, the wires picked up the investigation leaks I'd hinted at. Our three biggest competitors were getting gutted. Stock crashing, press spinning, executives suddenly going on indefinite leave. Meanwhile, ours jumped 12 points in a day. Penny forwarded me a Bloomberg headline that read, "Midland Pharma's compliance rebuild may be the industry's new gold standard." That was cute. I walked back into my office, shut the door, and buzzed Chase. He walked in cautious, like I might still throw something. "Close the door," I said. He did. I slid a folder across the desk toward him. His name was printed on the tab. He opened it, flipped through the first couple pages, then looked up. "Deputy Compliance Officer, 6-month trial, starts Monday." His brow furrowed. "Why me?" "You earned it." He shook his head. "After everything, you could have picked anyone. Hell, half the floor still hates me." I leaned forward. Revenge doesn't always mean blood. Sometimes it means fixing the machine that broke you. He didn't say anything for a while, just stared at the contract like it might disappear. Then finally, "I won't let you down." "You already did once," I said. "Don't do it again." He nodded. Tight, firm, no fake grin, no handshake, just respect. That's how I knew he meant it. After he left, I stood by the window, watching the cars roll in and out of the lower lot. Morning shift change. Same mess of traffic, same dented red Civic that always parked crooked. But it felt different now. I wasn't just building a department anymore. I was building a team. One that gave a damn about what compliance actually meant. Not paperwork, not audits, not empty training videos, but real guardrails. Real people keeping things from falling apart. And this time, I was doing it my way. My phone rang just after 7. Commissioner Thomas. No small talk. "We're forming a federal panel. Advisory board on regulatory policy. National scope. We want you on it." I didn't even ask who else was on the list. Didn't need to. "I'm in," I said. It wasn't just a seat at the table. It was a whole new playbook, and I'd be writing the first chapter. I ended the call, set the phone down, and walked through the glass doors into my office. My office, now with a private conference room off to the left, and a new coat of paint the same shade as the old one. Didn't matter. The desk was the same. I sat down, ran my hand across the surface where the marble paperweight used to sit, the one I smashed the day they tried to shove me out. Now, they couldn't move a chair without my signature. The door opened and Chase stepped in, holding a folder in one hand and a yellow notepad in the other. "Morning," he said, setting both on my desk. "Updates from ethics and the red lines from legal on the contractor policy revisions." I flipped through them quick, scanned the notes. "Keep pushing the whistleblower clause," I said. "No gray area. Full protection, anonymous channel, immediate response." He nodded. "Got it." Before he turned to leave, I looked up. "One more thing," I said. "We lead with results, not titles. Always." "Yes, sir." He meant it. When he left, I pulled open the top drawer. Tucked inside was the old nameplate they made for me back in Susme 09. Scratched corners, fading silver. I set it down next to the new one on the desk. Jack Merritt, Executive VP, Compliance and Ethics. That one was heavy, clean, permanent. I leaned back, hands behind my head, the kind of slow breath I hadn't taken in months.